Alright, Karina baby, today is the 8th of September. Can you believe it? Alright, so for a year full of stories, we have a quiet corner. A quiet corner. There's a quiet corner in our classroom where I can curl up like a kitten on a cushion to listen to a song or take a book from a shelf and read one for myself quietly. Oh, she has a quiet corner. That's absolutely awesome. Oh my gosh, this book. I'm going to have to get some, I don't know why I closed it, but I'm going to have to get some tape or glue or I have some JB Weld. Maybe that will work. Grandbaby, I love you. And I miss you. June. I love this book though because it goes every single day for you. Tomorrow's flying cakes. That's interesting. Alright, so let's go into our fairy tale book. The world's best fairy tales. Okay, so today is the Goose Girl. Once upon a time, there was an old queen who had a beautiful daughter. When she grew up, she was betrothed to the prince who lived a great way off. Now, when the new dawn near for the princess to be married and to depart into a foreign kingdom, her old mother gave her much costly baggage and many ornaments, gold and silver, trinkets and knickknacks, and in fact everything belonging to a royal trésor, for she loved her daughter dearly. The queen also sent a waiting maid who was to ride with the princess and hand her over to her bridegroom, and she provided each of them with a horse for the journey. Now the princess's horse, which was called Fidelita, Falada, Velodia, was able to speak. When the hour for departure drew near, the old mother went to her bedroom, and taking a small knife, she cut her finger till they bled. Then she held a white cloth under her fingers, and letting 3 drops of blood fall into it, she gave it to her daughter, saying, "Dear child, take great care of this cloth. It may be of use to you on the journey." So they took a sad farewell to each other. The princess put the cloth in front of her dress, mounted her horse, and set forth on the journey to her bridegroom's kingdom. After they had ridden for all about an hour, the princess became thirsty, and said to her waiting maid, "Please dismount and fetch me some water in my golden cup from yonder stream. I would like a drink." "If you are thirsty," said the maid, "dismount yourself and lie down by the water and drink. I do not mean to be your servant any longer." The princess was so thirsty that she got down and bent over the stream, for the golden gallop had not been brought to her. As she drank, she murmured, "Oh heaven, what am I to do?" And the 3 drops of blood replied, If your mother only knew, her heart would surely break in two." But the princess was meek and said nothing about her maid's rude behavior, and quietly mounted her horse again. They rode on their way for several miles, but the day was hot, and the sun's rays beat fiercely on them. The princess was soon overcome by thirst again, and as they passed another brook, she called out once more on her waiting maid, "Pray, get me a drink in my golden cup." And she had long ago forgotten her maid's rude words. But the waiting maid answered her mistress more hastily even than before. "If you want a drink, you can dismount and get it. I do not mean to be your servant." Then the princess was compelled by her thirst to dismount. Bending over the flowing water, she cried, "Oh heavens, what am I to do?" And the 3 drops of blood replied, "If your mother only knew, her heart would surely break in two." It's so true. And as she drank, leaning over the water, the clock containing the 3 drops of blood fell from her bosom and floated down the stream. In her anxiety, the princess never even noticed her loss. But the waiting maid had observed it with delight. She knew that now she could do as she wished with the bride, for in losing the 3 drops, the princess had become weak and powerless. When the princess wished to get on her horse again, the waiting maid called out, "I mean to ride Felida. You must mount my beast." And the princess had to submit. Then the waiting maid commanded her harshly to take off her royal robes and put on her common ones. And finally she made her swear by heavens not to say a word about the matter when they reached the palace. If she did not do so, she would be killed on the spot. And Felida observed everything and took it all to heart. The waiting maid now mounted Felida, and the real bride, on the other horse, and so they continued their journey till at length they arrived at the palace. There was great rejoicing over the arrival, and the prince sprang forward to meet them, thinking that the waiting maid was his bride. He lifted her down from the horse and led her upstairs to the royal chamber. In the meantime, the real princess was left standing below in the courtyard. The old king, who was looking out of his window, beheld her in this plight, and it struck him how sweet and gentle, even beautiful, she looked. He was at once to the royal chamber and asked the false bride who it was she had brought with her, and left standing in the courtyard below. "Oh," replied the bride, "I brought her with me to keep me company on the journey. Give the girl something to do, that she may not be idle." But the old king had no work for her and could not think of anything, so he said, "I have a small boy who looks after the geese. She had better help him." The youth's name was Curdken, and the royal bride was made to assist him in herding geese. Soon after this, the false bride said to the princess, "Dearest bridegroom, I pray you grant me a favor." He answered that I will. Then have the horse I rode here killed, because it behaved very badly on the journey. But the truth was she was afraid lest the horse should speak and tell how she had treated the princess, whom the news came to the ears of the royal princess. She went to the slaughterer and secretly promised him a piece of gold if he would do something for her. There was in the town a large dark gate, through which she had to pass night and morning with the geese. Would he kindly hang up Felida's head there that she might see it again? The man said he would do as the princess desired, and the next day he chopped off the head and nailed it firmly over the gateway. When she and Curdken drove their flock through, there she is. The gate early the next morning, she whispered as she passed under, "O Felida, 'tis you hang here." And the head replied, "'Tis you pass under, princess fair. If your mother only knew, her heart would surely break in two." And the real princess and Curdken left the tower and drove the geese out of the country. And when they had heard the meadow where the geese fled, she sat down and unloosed her hair, which was of pure gold. Curdken loved to see it glitter in the sun, and wanted very much to pull out a few hairs. Then the princess spoke, "Wind, wind, gently sway, blow Curdken's hat away. Let him chase it over fields and wolds, till my locks of ruddy gold, now astray and hanging down, be combed and plaited in a crown." A gust of wind blew Curdken's hat away, and he had to chase it over hill and dale. When he returned from his pursuit, she had finished combing and curling her hair, and his chance of getting a lock was gone. Curdken was very angry and would not speak to her. They herded the geese in silence till evening and then went home. The next morning, as they passed under the gate, driving the geese before them, the girl said, "O Felida, 'tis you hang there." And the head replied, "'Tis you pass under, princess fair. If your mother only knew, her heart would surely break in two." Then she went on her way till she came to the meadow, where she sat down and began to comb out her hair. Curdken ran up to her and wanted to pull a lock from her hair, but she called out hastily, "Wind, wind, gently sway, blow Curdken's hat away. Let him chase over fields and world, till my locks of ruddy gold, now astray, are hanging down, be combed and plaited in a crown." Then a puff of wind came and blew Curdken's hat far away, and he had to run after it. When he returned, she had long finished putting up her golden locks, and he could not get one. So they watched the geese till it was dark. But that evening when they came home, Curdken went to the old king and said, "I refuse to herd geese any longer with that girl." "For what reason?" asked the king. "Because she does nothing but annoy me all day long," replied Curdken, and he proceeded to relate her strange behavior. "Every morning as we drive the flock through the tower gate, she says to a horse's head that is nailed on the wall, "O Felida, 'tis you hang there." And the head replies, "'Tis you pass under, princess fair. If your mother only knew, her heart would surely break in two." And Curdken went on to tell what happened on the meadow where the geese fed, and how he had always to chase his hat. The old king bade him go and drive forth the flock as usual next day, and when morning came, he himself took up his position behind the dark gates, and heard how the Goose Girl greeted Felida. Then he followed her through the field and hid himself behind the bush on the meadow, and soon saw with his own eyes how the goose boy and the goose girl looked after the geese, and how after a time the maiden sat down and loosened her hair that glittered like gold, and repeated, "Wind, wind, gently sway, blow Curdken's hat away. Let him chase over field and world, till my locks of ruddy gold, now astray, are hanging down, be combed and plaited in a crown." Then a gust of wind came and blew Curdken's hat away, so he had to fly over hill and dale after it. And the girl in the meantime quickly combed and braided her hair. All this the old king observed and returned to the palace without anyone having noticed him. In the evening, when the Goose Girl came home, he called her aside and asked her why she behaved as she did. "I may not tell you why," she replied. "How dare I confide my woes to anyone, for I swore my heavens not to. Otherwise I should have lost my life." The old king begged her to tell him, and left her no peace, but he could get nothing out of her. At last he said, "Well, if you will not tell me, confide your troubles in the iron stove there." And he went away, leaving her alone. Then she crept to the stove and began to sob and pour out her sad little heart and said, "Here I sit, deserted by the whole world. I, who am a king's daughter, and a false waiting maid, has forced me to remove my own clothes, and has taken my place with my bridegroom, while I fulfill the lowly tasks of the Goose Girl. If my mother only knew, her heart would surely break in two." But the old king stood outside the stove chimney and listened to her words. Then he entered the room again, and he ordered royal apparel to be put on her, in which she looked amazingly lovely. Next he summoned his son, and revealed to him that he had a false bride, who was nothing but a waiting maid. Well, the royal bride, in the gaze of a Goose Girl, was now standing at his side. The young prince rejoiced with all of his heart when he saw her beauty and learned how good she was. And a great banquet was prepared, to which everyone was bidden. The bridegroom sat at the head of the table, and the real princess on one side of him, and the waiting maid on the other. The waiting maid was so dazzled she did not recognize the princess in her glittering garment. When they had eaten and were merry, the king asked the false bride to solve a problem for him. What, said he, should be done to a certain person who has deceived everyone? And he proceeded to relate the whole story, ending up with, "Now what sentence should be passed?" Then the false bride answered, "She deserves to be put naked into a barrel lined with sharp nails, which should be drawn by 2 white horses up and down the streets till she is dead." "You are the person," said the king, "and you have passed sentence on yourself, and even so it shall be done to you." The young prince was married to the real bride, and both reigned over the kingdom in peace and happiness. Oh my goodness, right? Alright, baby, tomorrow's going to be Beauty and the Beast. But what did we learn from that story? There's a lot of things in that story. You can't take the princess's place, right? You can't take someone out of their own position and try to put yourself in it, because that's their position in life. It's just the way that it is. Alright, baby cakes, let's do "We sit and watch the rain as it falls from the sky, and we are glad to be inside where it is warm and dry. Oh yes, I do love the rain. It keeps the earth so clean and helps the pretty flowers grow from the mountains to the streams." How about "Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Well, I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming forth to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth and carry me home. Well, sometimes I'm up and sometimes I'm down, coming forth to carry me home. But still I feel my soul is heavenly bound, coming forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth and carry me home. Now if you get there before I do, coming forth to carry me home. Tell all my friends I'll be coming there too, coming forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth and carry me home. You know that I'll be coming home, coming home, coming home to you, coming forth to carry me home. You know my word is good, you know my word is true, coming forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth and carry me home. You know that I love you, coming forth to carry me home. You know my word is good, you know my word is true, coming forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth and carry me home. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. How about? There's a song that goes, happiness comes in a circular motion. Little pebble upon the sand, now you're sitting here in my hand. You to me is just a passing phase. Little one upon the sand, now I'm sitting here in your hand. Me to you is a passing phase. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Life is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You could have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Why, oh, because. Why, oh, because happiness runs in a circular motion. Life is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You could have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Why, oh, because. Why, oh, because happiness runs in a circular motion. Life is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You could have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Why, oh, because. Why, oh, because. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Life is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You could have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. How about bully down his shin bone now, so help me Bob, and bully in the alley, way, hey, hey, bully in the alley, help me Bob, and bully in the alley, bully down his shin bone now. There once was a girl down in my alley, way, hey, bully in the alley, once was a girl that I loved dearly, bully down his shin bone now. So help me Bob, and bully in the alley, way, hey, bully in the alley, so help me Bob, and bully in the alley, bully down a shin bone now. Once was a girl that I loved dearly, way, hey, bully in the alley, once was a girl that I spliced nearly, bully down a shin bone now. But all she did was dilly and dally, way, hey, bully in the alley, so help me Bob, and bully in the alley, bully down a shin bone now. I left my girl to go a-sailing, way, hey, bully in the alley, left my girl to go a-whaling, bully down the shin bone now. So help me Bob, and bully in the alley, way, hey, bully in the alley, so help me Bob, and bully in the alley, bully down the shin bone now. If I ever get back, I'll marry little Sally, way, hey, bully in the alley, have 6 kids, and live in Shinbone Alley, bully down in Shinbone now. So help me Bob, and bully in the alley, way, hey, bully in the alley, so help me Bob, and bully in the alley, bully down in Shinbone now. Alright, how about the Grand Old Duke of York had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill, then he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up, and when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down. Alright, Karina baby, let's do Lila Tove. I love you so much. I miss you so much, honey. Lila Tove, and good night to you. Lila Tove, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Tove, may Israel protect you throughout the nights until we reach the morning lights. Baby, I love you and I miss you so much. Like Papa always used to say, Mama's his sun, Papa's my moon, and you are quite literally our rainbow baby, and we love you. No matter what, honey. We love you. I love you and I miss you. I hope you have a good day, my sweetheart.